Hi, welcome to the Crest Network. I'm Dick Wagner. We have a two-part series on the best ways for marketers to manage their time. Owners and GMs should also consider watching so that they have a good idea what their sales and marketing staff should and could be doing. So to keep this manageable from a time perspective, we're only going to show you the first 6 of these 12, what I consider critical tasks. So number 1, I think it's really important that wherever possible, the marketer or the salesperson eliminates the administrative tasks that often get dumped in their lap. You can't use that as the excuse not to do some of the things that are actually considered part of the marketer's job, but there are too many times when the salespeople or the marketers are doing general office admin work that can be done by somebody that's less dollar per hour or is not going to generate the same dollars per hour. Your salesperson out there in the field certainly should be generating between $100 and $500 an hour for their time. And obviously, we can hire an admin person for much, much less than that. So consider putting admin tasks on people that are really skilled at admin. The other rule that I think is really good to follow is if the task, that administrative task, can be achieved, can be done, completed in less than 2 minutes, then the marketer should go ahead and do it. If it's a 2-minute task, for heaven's sakes, knock it out, move on. It would probably take longer than 2 minutes to explain it to someone in admin. The problem arises when there are 20 or 30 or 40 of those 2-minute tasks. Then suddenly your salesperson or your marketer is burning hours during the day. Number 2, sales and marketing staff should track their time. They should keep a daily activity log. And on the Crest network, under forms, under sales forms, is a daily activity log that most of the folks that I coach use every single day, Monday through Friday. So make sure that they are filling out, completing a daily activity log. You also, and the marketer should also know how much time each task or how much time each typical visit generally requires. In other words, are most of those visits to plumbers or most of those visits to agents, are they 5-minute visits, 3-minute visits? Are they 15-minute visits? If they're longer than 15 minutes, there better be a really good reason why they're longer than 15 minutes, because the person that's being visited usually doesn't have that amount of time to spend and chat with a marketer. So be very, very skeptical when your salesman says, well, I could easily spend an hour with somebody. Maybe if you're at lunch, but that's about it. You also should know how much time travel is involved. And I don't mean going back to the future time travel. I mean, how much time does the route take to complete? In other words, when you add in your 5, 10, 15-minute visits and your travel time from the office to the first stop, and then from the first stop to the second stop, and so forth, how much time is consumed? If you, as an owner, calculate out that based on their 12 stops that they have listed that day, that they're done by 12:45, then they're not calling on enough people. They're not busy enough. They're not effective enough. And that should be a red flag to you. Sales and marketing people, it might be that in your particular market, you should be calling on 20 or 22 prospects during the day. For those of you that are out in the middle of cornfield land in the Midwest, where you might have to travel 45 minutes from one plumber to the next plumber, or from one agent over into the next town to the next agent, maybe you're not going to hit 20 different stops. And then the other thing that so often happens is there's always an unexpected, unplanned surprise event. It could be everything from a traffic accident slowing you down. It could be the car has a flat tire. It could be that you got to your agent's office and the principal wanted to talk with you, but he was on a call and he asked you, hang on for a bit. Let me finish up this call because I really would like to talk with you. You might sit there for 30 minutes, somewhat unproductive, and you have to be prepared for that. Have something productive to do while you're waiting. Number 3, stick with the task that you're doing. Stay on focus, stay targeted with what you're supposed to be doing. Prioritize. And in the prioritization process, it's really a written out list of priorities. And you might list them the first time by just going right down the list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But then rewrite them and identify priority number 1, the top thing that absolutely has to get done today. And then number 2, and then number 3. Put them in the order of how crucial they are. And don't jump from one project to the next project. If you're sitting down and you need to make 2 phone calls, make the 2 phone calls, 1, 2, in rapid succession, instead of making a phone call and then getting up and going into the lunchroom and making a fresh cup of coffee and then coming back and making your next call. That's wasted time. You're not staying on task. And so many times we want to please people, and you will be asked to do things where it's appropriate to say, geez, I'm sorry, I'm not able to do that right now. And there's a whole segment on learning how to say no, and saying no respectfully and explaining why, so that people, including your own boss, don't ask you to do things that are not appropriate for the time and the assignment that you have at hand. Number 4, there's a book out there. I believe the title to it is something along the lines of swallow the frog first thing in the morning. And the concept is, if you have something unpleasant to do, if you have something you just dread, it's making a phone call that isn't going to be pleasant, whatever it is, you have to give somebody some bad news. It's you've got to tell somebody that your crew's not going to be there today to do the painting. Something came up. You better eat the frog quickly, first thing in the morning, gulp the bad stuff right out of the gate, first thing. And once you've got that done, once you've swallowed the frog, life can go on again. You keep on moving. So do those unpleasant tasks right away. Don't procrastinate on them. And it's important that you know which tasks don't actually have to be done. So many times landing on our desk are tasks that, as a matter of fact, they aren't that crucial. They really don't have to be completed. They could even be just thrown away, wiped out, ignored, or passed on to somebody that should handle them more appropriately. Number 5, start with the end in mind. In other words, know what the end game is. Know what you want to achieve. Know the point that you're striving toward. You also have to know what the first step is. So as you think about what you want to achieve as the end result, you should have also in your mind, and even put it on paper, know what step number 1 is, know what the next steps are that you need to take, and ideally in the order you need to take them, and then have the last step be achieving the end result that you want to achieve. And number 6, the last one for this segment of a 2-part segment, is make your entire day about your client or your clients, plural. Know who your clients are, know what your clients want, and know how to give them what they want. Some of you that are really sharp may have noticed that I didn't say know what they need, because generally people don't buy what they need. They buy what they want. Now, sure, you've got a baby in the house and you're going to go to the store and you're going to buy milk. You're buying milk because you need that. But in general, even if you're going to buy a new car, you buy the car you want, not necessarily the car you need. The car you need might be a white car with 4 wheels and an engine that gets you down the road. That's not really what you want. You want something a little more stylish with a few more creature comforts in them. And so remember, know your client, know what they want, and then know how to give them what they want. I'm Dick Wagner. You've been watching the Crest Network. I hope you will also tune in to some of Bill Gianone's 8 to 10, 12-minute sales training, or administrative and financial training. They're insightful, they're eye-opening. So please consider that as well. Stay tuned and watch on the next slide set for the series of this particular program, section number 2.